Dormitabis has been under a lot of scrutiny lately, and for good reason. The list of crimes that the developer Blackout has been accused of are truly horrifying. But I still think the game itself is worth playing. It's one of the best FNaF fan games out there, and it's a shame it's been overshadowed by the accusatory actions of the developer. I think it's important in this case to separate the art from the artist and to appreciate Dormitabis for what it does and how it does it. We'll get back to you later though. Don't you worry. Before we get into the game that was released, I think it'd be fun to look at the development history of Dormitabis. The history was planned to be a point-and-click free roam game, but after the release of Joy of Creation, the developers decided to change the gameplay to a more traditional FNaF style, which is kind of strange, but I understand. Unfortunately, no beta version of the game was ever released, and all that remains is summaries of what the game was going to be, and this 180 by 120 GIF of gameplay footage, which, can't believe that's all that was archived, dude. The planned version of Dormitabis was also going to have 15 animatronics, including my favorite, Dawnbreaker. I mean, look at this thing, it's so good looking.
Look how they mess with my boy.
There are also teaser games during this era of beta Dormitabis that revealed parts of the story that weren't touched on in the final game. Like how the motivations of Purple Guy killing kids is because he was made fun of for being purple. Outstanding writing there, just incredible. After about 2 to 3 years of development, Dormitabis was finally released to the public, and there is a lot to talk about. First thing you might notice is the art style of this game. It's pretty ugly, but in a good way. The setting of Dormitabis is in purgatory, a place between heaven and hell, where the dead free themselves from sin before going to heaven. So the art style being a little insulting on the eyes makes sense. Plus, it really makes Dormitabis stand out from other FNaF fan games. I don't think you'll find any other game that looks like this. Oh, also one thing I forgot to mention, there's 10 Although 10 nights might seem like a lot for a FNaF fan game, which it is. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. The pacing makes sense. There are 9 characters to defend against, each with its own unique behavior. The amount of nights mixing and matching characters keeps the game interesting and prepares you for harder nights. Night 1 is just an introduction. The phone guy, Peter, explains that you are dead in purgatory, and your friends, the animatronics, are trying to kill you, and that it's important to collect a tape. Peter also mentions that the animatronics run on a sleep cycle, implying that he's been here for a long time. The only animatronic you'll face on Night 1 is Havoc Freddy. To counter him, run to the other end of the office by dead sprinting under the table, canonically meaning you are playing as a very nimble midget. After beating Night 1, you will unlock the Characters and Tapes tabs in the Extra menu. After beating a night with a new animatronic, you'll unlock their excerpt in the Characters tab, showing their walk cycle. This is a really cool way to show off models in the Extras menu, and I'm surprised more FNaF fan games haven't copied this. After collecting each tape, it will also be added to the Tape menu. Oh my god, these tapes. I have so much to say about them, but I'll do that later because I can't talk about them right now.
There's this hot 15-year-old that was part of the kid's friends group. She screamed. It was so much fun.
Stop it, please, I beg you!
Night 2 introduces Havoc Chica and Am I Real? Havoc Chica acts like Freddy, but you need to stare at her from the opposite end of the office to the left. Am I Real appears randomly on a camera and yells out which one he's on. Stay at him until he looks fixed, and you should be good. Speaking of which, the camera system is a little strange. Instead of an overlay of the building and the cameras, you need a tab out of the overlay to see the cameras, if that makes sense. Some people hate this mechanic, but after a while, you do get used to it. Only thing I don't like about it is the small monitor. I wish it was bigger so you could actually see the renders on the screen, but it's fine. Peter explains that the animatronics want to eat your plasma and something manifested them out of thin air. Through 2 of the mini-games that were released during the beta Dormitabis era, we learned that the puppet took plasma from Molten Evil, a character we'll get onto later. But this leaves a lot of questions, like why is the puppet here? Did someone make her? If no one made the puppet, then why are they deformed like the other animatronics? And also, why is Molten Evil a raw source of plasma? And I think the best answer we're gonna get is no one thought of it. Night 3 introduces Soul Cage and previously mentioned Molten Evil. Soul Cage is a really neat character based on the FNaF 1 animatronic shells scattered around the FNaF 3 location. It must collect all its heads before attacking you. It then jump scares you from the right door and climbs onto your ceiling. And I won't lie, that jump scare has gotten me more than once. Very embarrassing. Ooh, that got me. I didn't know you were active. I thought it was BOA. Molten Evil requires you to stare at the ceiling to get rid of it, which, for such a cool character, kind of a boring mechanic. Peter doesn't have any important lore-related information this night, other than Molten Evil occasionally attacks the other animatronics. Night 4 has us deal with Havoc Puppet. Very simple mechanic. Just turn around and look at him. I also want to take time to appreciate the design of this character. It's unreal how different, yet similar it looks from the original Puppet design. It's very well done. Peter's phone call is useless tonight, so we'll ignore him. Usually Night 4 in FNaF games is one of the largest difficulty curves. However, you probably won't have any issues with the game until Night 7 or 8. That is, if you're able to get past Night 5. Night 5 introduces two of the most difficult characters in Dormitabis, Havoc Foxy and Golden Call. Golden Call will send a password prompt on screen. You must go to Camo 5 and read Foxy's sign, which will most likely be him taunting you. The longest word in the sentence is the password for the prompt. Once you insert that, quickly run to the other side of the office and stare at him from the right. You'll be safe once you've done all that. They're definitely the most complex characters you'll encounter on an average night. But in practice, they're not as bad as they sound. Trust me. Peter basically repeats what I just said, but worse. And honestly, I'm going to stop talking about him until he says something interesting. Night 6 gives us a new character, the BOA, which stands for the Box of Abominations. Another incredibly cool design based on FNaF 3. This time being the box of toy animatronics seen in the office of that game. The way you handle him is by running to the end of the office and staring at him until he leaves. He says something I can't understand while you run, and it's pretty badass. I love him a lot. Only thing I don't like about him is the two tiny legs he walks on, which is just really dumb. I don't like that. Night 7 introduces nothing new to us, now that we've seen every animatronic. Only thing interesting is Peter mentioning a key, which is super important later, but it doesn't appear in this night, so I don't really know why he talks about it. Night 8 and 9 really start kicking off the difficulty, but because of my amazing skill and good looks, it wasn't really a challenge. However, the phone calls from Peter this time are pretty interesting. On Night 8, he says we brought something here with us, and on Night 9, he says it's something or someone named Garvey. He destroyed the other animatronics and is getting ready to kill Peter. And unsurprisingly, this is the last call we get from him. So, who is Garvey? Well, we get a pretty good clue in Night 10. Yeah, we're gonna die a lot on this night. Night 10 is just a normal night, but everything's been thrown out. Because Garvey destroyed the animatronics, the only threat in the building is Garvey. God, I hate that name. He is a serious challenge at first, having multiple ways you need to defend against him. Easiest being his laugh cues. If you hear him laughing to the left, look to the left. To the right, look to the right. Garvey's most difficult attack is when he goes through the vents. When Garvey is in the vents, you must click on the one he's in to slow him down. Afterwards, you need to run to the opposite end of the desk and look at the corresponding doorway. The only reason it's so difficult at first is because no one is there to tell you how to counter him. Unless you look at the tutorial on the main menu, but we aren't pussies. We dive headfirst into challenges without strategy or way to win. After you learn how to counter him properly, it's a fairly easy challenge if you don't get complacent. Left. Whoops, 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 whoops. I'm dead. The jump scare keeps bugging. That's kind of funny. I'm an idiot. I flipped up for some reason. Or back or whatever. And now that we've gotten through Garvey yelling at us for 5 minutes straight, we're forced into a cutscene at the end of the night. And I'm just going to let this play out because I think it's pretty cool. Right? That's it. John Wright. Brat, scum, waste of air. See you soon. Not really sure why her epitaph is so cruel or what the president saying see you soon means, but this is how we get the bad ending. Brightening this photo, you'll see Garvey in the background. Doesn't mean anything, just thought it was interesting, I guess. Alright, now, all 10 nights are done. I think it's about time we talked about the tapes.
He bled out real quick.
Fucking little fat squeaky little cock. The tapes in Dormitabis are something you collect throughout the game. There are 10 for each corresponding night. Each tape shows the slow or extremely quick downfall of Garvey Wright.
It was easy.
Garvey is Dormitabis' interpretation of Purple Guy. And I've got to say, this is the most interesting iteration of Purple Guy I've seen.
Oh my god. This is most certainly beginning to be fun.
It's not a good iteration, but it sure is interesting. Instead of being a cunning, smart mechanical engineer fueled to kill out of spite and revenge, he's an adult loser who got bullied by kids. Seriously, from later gameplay, he's much larger than the children he's killing. Which, in a way, is scary to think that your own kid could say something to a stranger and then that stranger holding a grudge against them because they're so mentally ill, but that's not at all what's portrayed through these tapes. It's so bizarre, and in the third tape, not even deep into the recordings, you have him reminiscing about a child to death. It's done with no respect, no horror, and it feels like we're listening to the writer's disturbed fantasy, and I hate it. To further show how bad these tapes really are, I decided to dissect them a little bit and show off some of the most incompetent storytelling I've ever seen. First of all, the tapes are recorded over the span of 11 years. It took 11 years to record 10 tapes. Most serial killers in real life keep some sort of trophy from their victims, so you could easily write in that this is what the tapes are for. But there's supposed to be self-motivation for him to keep killing. He says at the very beginning, he's recording this as a reminder for myself. Whatever that means. And then decides to record tapes not motivating himself to murder. There's a line at the beginning of the first tape where he says he doesn't want to start doing this again. Meaning, he's killed before this, but it's never brought up again, so I'm not really sure why this is even a line. In tape 6, he gets excited about the thought of people discovering the bodies in the animatronic suits. But then, in the next tape, he gets worried about an employee finding the bodies and kills him once he discovers them. So why did we have an entire tape celebrating the bodies being found? In tape 9, he talks about how his brother, Peter, bailed him out of jail, but he knows what he did. And because he knows, he has to kill him, which would incriminate Garvey more if his own brother ends up dead, but that doesn't even stop him. And, you know, he's really sad about it, saying he didn't want to go as far as to killing family.
I didn't want this to go as far as killing family. But do I really have a choice now? Sorry.
But he wants to kill you. Garvey Wright is upset about killing Peter Wright because he's family, but wants to kill John Wright. Make it make sense, man. These tapes suck. Alright, I'm glad we got those tapes out of the way. Now that we've collected all of them, we need to get 2 keys. One key is located in night 10 after you've collected the first tape. Right there. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it. Did I get it? Nope, wait, it's... Wait. There, I got it. And the other is in night 11. Oh god, there's an 11th night. Night 11 activates every animatronic. Every animatronic, making this the hardest challenge in Dormitabis. Thankfully, Garvey isn't among the normal animatronics. Midway through the night, you do have to go against him, and it's a rough transition. Before we get to the actual insanity that is Night 11, you can click on the arcade cabinet now that the window is smashed. Ooh! This is how we get to it, that's right! After clicking the cabinet, you're transported to Havoc Freddy in space, where you play a pretty bad minigame. If you aren't a seasoned veteran at Dormitabis like myself, you would have no idea that this UFO isn't something you're supposed to shoot at. You need to hijack it, or else you can't beat the game. I feel like it would have been easier to just give you a smaller UFO in the first place, but, you know, what do I know? After you go through this labyrinth of fire and enemies, you come to the final boss, which is extremely difficult. You will die over and over again, learning its intense attack patterns, which gets even harder after its second phase, which is all. Now we've beaten the boss, we get this extremely unnerving and strange cutscene, if you could even call it that. I'm going to be completely honest, I have zero clue what any of this could mean. Michael isn't referenced anywhere in this game, as far as I know, other than this line right here.
Yeah, they're really creepy. Oh, soon.
Anyway, back to Night 11. This night has had a lot of controversy over its difficulty from what I remember when it came out. So much to the point that, from what I can remember, there was an update that made it not necessary to complete for the 100% completion epic ending. For such a difficult challenge, it honestly wasn't the worst thing I've put myself through, only taking about an hour to complete. If you are up for the task, it is extremely fun and satisfying, countering every animatronic. However, the Garvey section does get extremely tense, and it's very easy to die to him. But after he's dragged to hell, and you're done celebrating.
Right. Is that it? That's it! Nightmare night.
You get the puppet crying child thing, telling you that there's one more thing to do.
Cutscene.
You have come far. I have. But it's not over. A last challenge for you to pass. Get the keys and enter it.
Got him.
Got the keys. Talk to you later. See you later, puppet kid. Here comes another controversial part of the game.
John's still alive. I don't know how long it will take me to find him, but I will. And he will not like what happens next.
The Paper Theater. An extremely cool concept ruined by artificial difficulty.
I'm going. I had to pee, I'm sorry.
You play through a sequence of events depicting Garvey's murders. Through trial and error and listening to the tapes, you figure out what to do. Except a lot of this is bullshit. There's a time limit on the top of the stage, meaning you have to be perfect doing this challenge. It took me 40 minutes to complete. 40 minutes of listening to the same song over and over, spamming the spacebar, and just barely getting to the end, and then it not being enough. But we got through it. Oh, also my recording went haywire and decided audio is something it didn't want to record anymore, wasting almost an entire day of my time trying to fix it, only for it to be a Windows issue with their new update, meaning resetting my perfect recording settings with worthless. F you, Windows. Dude, I was so mad while writing this. Anyway, back to the Paper Theater. Once completing it, it grants you access to Night 12. You don't actually get to play Night 12 until you complete the Am I Real minigame, where you spam click Am I Real until he goes insane for some reason. I don't know why this is a minigame, but it's here, and I used an auto clicker. And Night 12 is completely different from the game. And not in the way Garvey was different, I mean completely different. You're transported to the original Cake Bears after the death of the first victim. meaning Freddy in this minigame was interpreted as Cake Bear. And although Cake Bear is the main antagonist of this night, you won't get killed by him unless you're me. All you have to do is find the puppet on the cameras who's Havoc puppet, meaning they transported themselves back in time, or maybe we got transported back in time through the puppet. Who the hell knows? This story is kind of ass at this point. Because the puppet is your main threat, if you just focus on him, you'll accidentally repel Cake Bear, making this night a piece of cake to complete. Piece of cake. And then it's time to open the music box that's been sealed for so long. It's revealed the contents inside are a bunch of poorly written newspaper articles that repeats the story we already know about. After reading through all of that, or not.
Whoops. Oh. I didn't read what that said.
It's revealed the souls of the Purgatory Pizza are set free. And that's the end of Dormitabis. And you know, Dormitabis may not be perfect. It may be hard, and it may be long. Pause. But it really is one of the best FNaF fan games I've ever played. I've also been playing The Return to Freddy's for the past couple of months, so that probably muddied my taste a little bit, but I do really like this game. And it sucks to see that the consensus of the internet recently is this game sucks, it's bad, I hate it, not because of the gameplay, but because of what the developer did after making it, which just doesn't seem fair to me. If you're still interested in Dormitabis, I still highly recommend playing it, or hell, play the remake. I don't think it's as good as the original, but it's still incredibly solid. Alright, Blackout, I completely forgot about him. Hey, this video is about to get really dark. Here's a warning of what's about to be covered. Before I cover the allegations of Blackout, I'll be referring to them as Nietzsche in this segment. While researching this whole situation, it got really confusing really fast. So I'll do my best to make everything as clear as possible for you, and I just want to address that everything I'm going to say is allegations. Do not go out of your way to harass or demean anyone in this video. This whole thing is a tangled knot that not even I fully understand. This all begins with a video by Nocturnum. This video, since its upload, has been privatized, however, that means it's still available to the public. I'll link it in the description. The video itself attempts to expose Nietzsche of this, and with such damning claims, it was a little shocking to me that this video is lacking in every way possible. For example, it is stated by Nocturnum multiple times in this video that Nietzsche and his friends would harass him.
This led to him harassing me. Nietzsche would constantly stalk me and harass me. At one point, there was a group chat made about me.
However, the only evidence I could find is the screenshot provided from the video, which is interesting because this is a reply to Nocturnum on a video by Nietzsche. So this isn't an example of harassment. Though I didn't want to disclose this claim by Nocturnum, so I went out and dug through anything I could find that could support this, and I couldn't find anything. It is possible Nietzsche went scorched earth on his internet footprint after the release of Nocturnum's video, making it impossible to find anything. So I used the Wayback Machine in an effort to discover literally anything on Nietzsche making fun of Nocturnum, or something in any way, and still I came up empty-handed, only because nothing important was archived and Nietzsche never really posted anything. That isn't to say he might have said something in Discord, but those screenshots would have had to be provided by Nocturnum himself, which he doesn't have. So I'm deeming this claim inconclusive. Nocturnum also goes on to talk about a group chat that was full of people that had, quote, touchy interactions with Nietzsche.
And this group chat was full of a number of people that had had very touchy interactions with Nietzsche. They were mostly all used for cyber sex, and they were harassed, blackmailed, abused. Unfortunately, I thought I still had this group on me, but I have no idea. I think I might have left it. I don't remember, but the group chat is gone now, and I don't know where it went.
But again, there's no evidence of this happening. Though Nocturnum says he'll follow up this video if he can find the group chat again, but that never happened. And although I just said there was no evidence of this, apparently there is, because Nocturnum turns around in the same breath and shows screenshots of Nietzsche flirting with an alleged 12-year-old that was in the group chat. These screenshots are incredibly bizarre looking. First, they have deleted user talking to a censored user. Second, the user never states their age. And third, Nocturnum immediately explains why these screenshots are unreliable.
I know recently Pyrocynical was accused of being a groomer, but the thing is that a lot of people do not believe that those allegations because of the fact that the Discord screenshots have deleted user, but the unfortunate part is the screenshot right here has deleted user in it.
They do talk about Germany though, which is where Nietzsche is from, but because these could have been so easily doctored, I'm deeming this claim inconclusive as well. Next bit of evidence from this video is Nietzsche's ass. Apparently Nietzsche sent his ass to a bunch of people, but it said here Nietzsche sent it to the Return to Freddy's Not Safe for Work channel, which is just, why does that exist? He also says he sent this ass pic to the 12-year-old, but the screenshot he shows is literally just pure cake, so I can't say if that's true or not either. Oh yeah, and this post. Hanko is a name I've seen thrown around a bit while digging through this. He knows Nietzsche, and that's all I can find about him. He made this post that Nocturnum goes over to debunk in this video, and every counter-argument he has is just not true. There's also this crazy claim about Nocturnum, which I'm disregarding entirely because it just comes out of nowhere. I'm not really sure why Nocturnum put this weird response in this video, but whatever, man. There's also this weird debate on what classifies someone as a pedo, and if laws surrounding your country makes you a pedo.
The person that he did this with was, I think, American. I don't know. I don't know but I doubt their country's age of consent was 13 or 14. I don't necessarily know how the whole cross countries and the internet whole thing works. The age to be classified as a pedophile is 16 years old. You can do a quick Google search. How old do you have? He is retarded and uneducated when it comes to the law with age. Excuse me for my French there.
Fellas, if you talk to a 12-year-old in any sexual way, you are a pedo. I'm not sure why this fucking strange debate about it is in this video. Nocturnum finishes this video off with him saying Nietzsche would lie about his age to date older people, but in the screenshot right here, it says to make him look cooler. Oh yeah, the screenshots. This is the image that seems to be the nail in the coffin for everyone regarding the situation for some reason. The points listed here are so stupid, even Nocturnum says how they're minor. If you really read these, there are no claims for them in the video, and basically round down to Nietzsche being a weirdo asshole, which seem to be kind of conclusive. And fucking gross if his fetishes are true, which they might be, considering the story of Dormitabis. Nocturnum mentions that these screenshots came from a different video released in 2018. So Nocturnum has screenshots from a deleted video he claims he doesn't have access to and was not a part of, but not the supposed countless times Nietzsche harassed, abused, and blackmailed him and other people. I mean, sure, man. Sounds completely reasonable to me. To sum up this video, there's zero viable evidence for any of the claims Nocturnum provides other than that Nietzsche is an asshole. So glad we cleared that up, I guess. So what was the response Mr. Blackout himself had? Well, he fled the internet. Yeah, so that's what makes this situation so confusing to me. This video is ass and backs up no points made, yet Nietzsche says nothing, deletes everything, and leaves the internet. For a long time too. It's been almost 3 years. So did Nietzsche prove the allegations to be true? I have no idea. But while looking for a response, I found 3 Blackout archive channels which have the same links in the description. One of these links leads to a Google Drive share file, and it's an exposed video. Yeah, this hole just keeps getting deeper. At this point on, I have no idea what's what, who's who, and anything that's going on. But from where I can tell, this starts at this twit longer from an account named Liam Crush Exposed, talk about how Kane Carter and Liam Crush allegedly were covering for the pair, which is this whole thing I'm not going to get into. And essentially this twit longer is trying to expose Nocturnum, claiming he's Liam Crush, but apparently Liam Crush was supposed to be exposed as Nocturnum or someone a part of Radion's team, so the pair would go over better. Listen, I have no idea. This twit longer labels everything Nietzsche was claimed to be by Nocturnum. Except there's evidence. Like a lot of evidence that doesn't load. However, some of these screenshots were archived in this video, allegedly revealing Nocturnum to be role-playing with a 12-year-old. My biggest issue is I seriously cannot access any of these screenshots to clarify if they're real, if they're not, I have no idea. For all I know, these aren't anything. And look, I'm just here to talk about Dormitabis. This whole deeper lore into the drama is something I'm really not interested in. If you want to unpack this yourself, go for it, because I'm good. All the links will be in the description if you really are interested, because, again, this is not my cup of tea. In conclusion, Nietzsche and Nocturnum are both assholes. Avoid FNaF fan game devs like the plague, because they're all weirdos, turns out. Who would have guessed? Experience Dormitabis for yourself. Don't mind the alleged checkered past of the creator and take the game at face value. Good gameplay and some f***ing horrific storytelling, if I'm gonna be honest. If you want to play a slightly harder Dormitabis with better storytelling, then check out Dormitabis Remastered. Both games are pretty damn great and will be linked in the description. And thanks for watching.